Hi, hello everyone, welcome back to a new video on this channel. Today we are going to be talking about Kiss of Life, how their career is going after the disastrous live stream they did now a year ago, plagiarism allegations, latest songs, and everything else. So without further ado, let's get started. You can touch my lips, I'm free at 666. Kiss of Life was a highly beloved group in K-pop, coming from a relatively unknown agency, but their music attracted tons of fans and casual listeners who were tuning in for every release. Julie, Natty, Belle, and Hanul debuted with Shh, and the era between Midas Touch and Sticky was when they gained the most fans. They were the ideal group because they had vocals, dance, rap, and connected easily with international fans since 3 out of the 4 members were fluent in English. Everything crumbled when, for Julie's birthday, they decided to host an old-school hip-hop theme livestream, or at least that was their idea, because the execution was very poor. I have a whole video from when it happened, but basically the styling, the mannerisms, and how they acted were extremely controversial, feeling as if they were stereotyping Black and Latino communities. Complaints didn't take long to pour in, so they deleted the stream, the members wrote handwritten apology letters, and Julie even addressed it on a live broadcast. After that, 2 sides were formed. Those who felt their actions were unforgivable, and those who believed the girls had learned their lesson and deserved a chance to grow from their mistakes. However, the vast majority turned against them, declaring they would no longer support anything Kiss of Life released. This backlash had severe repercussions for them, leading to their performance at KCON LA 2025 getting cancelled, and they lost 200,000 followers across their social platforms within days of the broadcast. 2 months later, the group made a comeback with their title track Lips, Hips, Kiss. Though what caught people's attention even more was a B-side of the album called K-Bye, whose lyrics basically conveyed that if someone doesn't like them, they can just walk away. You don't like me? That's fine. You don't like me? K-bye. Please don't cry. Some people pointed out that these lyrics were insensitive, considering they had just been cancelled over an issue regarding racism, and that this kind of message only works when people are criticizing you over something insignificant. The song likely existed before all the controversy broke out, but many fans still found it bad taste, especially since releasing a dismissive track right after issuing a formal apology felt contradictory to many fans. After this, they made their Japanese debut and released a few more songs, leading up to their most recent 3rd single album, which we will discuss in a moment. The group's sales took a clear hit. From their debut onward, their numbers had nothing but grow. Kiss of Life, 25,000 copies. Born to be XX, 59,000 copies. Midas Touch, 100,000 copies. Lose Yourself, 120,000 copies. Then the livestream incident happened. 2024, 102,000 copies. Who Is She, 79,000 copies. Sweat, that is their newest release, 56,000 copies. It's still early to talk about it, but even the first week numbers are noticeably down compared to the previous albums. Their social media presence also took a parallel hit. On Instagram, they haven't recovered the followers they lost since April 2025 drop and continue to lose numbers monthly. On TikTok, they only just regained their pre-incident follower count, while on YouTube, they managed to recover their subscriber base over the following months. Kiss of Life is back in the conversation due to their new single album featuring 2 tracks, Sweat and What. Sweat fits right with what Kiss of Life has been doing over the past few years. What, however, is a track that sparked controversy. While the song came out about a month ago, it's a music video that drew heavily comparisons to aespa's Whiplash. It's undeniable that there are sections sharing the same aesthetic, white backgrounds with the members dancing in black outfits. However, watching the video in its entirety, I can't call it outright plagiarism. The entire first half takes place in a completely different set. And while the white set scenes share similarities, plenty of other music videos use that concept. I can see why people would compare them, particularly because of the camera movements, but I can't help thinking that aespa weren't the first, nor will they probably be the last, to come up with a concept like this. Others argue that it isn't even the music video, but rather the track itself that sounds so much like Whiplash. I think when people tell you two songs share similarities, you naturally start actively looking for them. When I went on Twitter and saw the drama, I thought, okay, yeah, there's a slight resemblance, but not completely. If you listen to Whiplash in full, and then listen to What, you probably wouldn't think they sound alike, even if certain sections do. The main issue I see is that the song came out weeks ago, and nobody drew those comparisons back then. In fact, I remember people discussing it, even those who weren't particularly fond of Kiss of Life, and what they were actually pointing out was how absurd the lyrics were, specifically the line,
"Getting DMs from these F1 drivers again. They always asking what I'm doing every single week."
People were joking about how an F1 driver would ask you what you're doing on the weekend, when those are literally the only days they actually work, since races take place on weekends. So, general K-pop fans definitely had the track on their radar, yet no one claimed it sounded like anything else. It was only when the music video dropped that people subconsciously started hunting for matching elements. This isn't me saying they don't look or sound anything at all. I can understand why some parts plagiarism accusations, but I don't think it's what happened here. Fans nowadays are way too quickly to point fingers the second there's even the slightest overlap, a behavior I honestly blame Min Hee-jin for popularizing. Besides, if you look at the track credits, Shift Key worked on both songs. So it's really not that strange for them to share a similar musical signature. So I can't help thinking that these accusations aren't so much about the song as it is about the group. I want to take a moment to reflect on Kiss of Life as a whole, because we all know that there are groups and idols in K-pop that have done far worse things, and yet aren't nearly as stigmatized to stan as Kiss of Life currently is. I don't want to resort to the cliche of saying, yeah, Kiss of Life did this, but another group did that, because I think it's rather lame, and two groups can both be bad at the same time. Just because there's someone worse doesn't mean yours is any good. But I think there are several reasons why they just can't seem to shake this problematic group label, even if they only have one big incident. The fact is that it was the incident, the live stream that, firstly, they directly insulted their core audience. Kiss of Life wasn't completely new in Korea, but their primary backing was international. Their sound was loved by Western audiences the most, but because they were still a relatively new group, they hadn't built a deeply loyal, ride-or-die fanbase yet. Most of their followers were casual listeners who liked them purely because their music was good, not because them itself. Casual fans aren't going to defend you when you messed up, because they don't have that intense emotional attachment yet. Then it became cool to hate them. The controversy happened live, the reaction was immediate, and the apologies followed right after. It's all extremely recent and fresh in everyone's mind. If another group said something terrible back in 2020, time has passed, people moved on, and the outrage naturally fades. But with Kiss of Life, the second there's the smallest opportunity to drag them, the hate train instantly resets to 100%. And that is surprising, because the members actually did far more accountability-wise than most idols ever do in similar situations. Julie literally went live on a stream to address it directly and apologize. How many idols could you name who have ever done that? Personally, I can't think of a single one. Their music is good, but that was never the real issue. The real problem is that in today's K-pop culture, once a narrative takes root that a group is tainted, every single move they make gets bad comments. Whether it's a lyrical choice, a stylistic decision, or a visual concept, people will actively search for reasons to keep them in their doghouse, rather than allowing them to move forward. And personally, it makes me feel a bit sad, because they genuinely seem interested in learning and growing, but they aren't given the chance to. Maybe I'm just being too nice, and everything they did was simply damage control to save their reputation, which could totally be the case. But I still think they are getting way too much hate over things they have nothing to do with it. I honestly don't know if the group will be able to move past it and have everyone look at them in a positive light again. At least internationally, that's going to be extremely difficult. But what do you guys think? Do you think What and Whiplash share similarities or not at all? I will be reading your comments. Bye!
And this has been all. I hope you like it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. It would help me a lot. See ya.